Between 8 and 30 women gather in a small chapel for Sunday worship services at the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center. They're all dressed in scrubs, ranging in color from red and orange to brown and green. The colors signify the unit they've been assigned within the prison. Not every inmate is present, but Mike Bright, who is the leader of a group of volunteers called to minister in the prison, tells EastIdahoNews.com those who do attend are there because they want to be.
They can't go anywhere, and they are so happy to see you, and the love radiates from them, and the countenance radiates from them. Now, there's been some terrible crimes, don't get me wrong, but the love radiates from those ladies.
Services have not been held at the prison since the onset of COVID-19, so we were unable to attend. But Bright describes what a typical Sunday was like prior to the outbreak. As the branch president, he usually sat at the front of the group, along with other rotating members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints throughout the area who are assigned to minister in the Kinport branch, the name for the congregation of female inmates. A journey through the prison and how the efforts of Bright and his group of volunteers are helping the inmates come closer to Christ, and why volunteers say it's helping them love people like they never thought they could. All that coming up on Finding Faith. The Correctional Center is a maximum security prison, which requires Bright and his volunteers to get through 4 levels of security just to hold services.
What you do is you'd go up and you'd go through the front door, you'd push a button, and they would, the guards in the control room, would look in and see who we were. They'd press a button to open that door, and you'd go in, and that door would shut behind you, and that was the foyer. Then we had clearances. We took clearances that sometimes took 3 to 4 months to get through the Idaho Department of Corrections. We'd have clearances, and then they would check us in. We would sign in. They would check us in, frisk us with the wand, metal detectors. We'd go through a metal detector, then they'd wand us, and then we would go in through that door, and it would close behind you, which is a foyer. Then you go into through the next door, and then lock behind you, and then you were into the prison.
The final level of security was the doorway to the chapel. The chapel, according to Bright, is about 25 feet by 20 feet and has a maximum seating capacity of 30 people. Once everyone had gathered, Bright would welcome everyone in attendance, and the services would begin with a hymn and a prayer. 2 of the volunteers would deliver a simple message. Volunteer Sally Lunsford explains.
It is mostly what we feel in our heart is what they might need that day. You know, you might have planned a lesson, and then the day of, you'll say, that doesn't feel right. They need to hear this.
Now, Lunsford serves as the Relief Society president at the prison. In Latter-day Saint congregations, Relief Society is a class for women 18 and up. Lunsford would coordinate this class in individual units immediately following services, and she would also coordinate activities for the inmates throughout the week. Serving in this capacity gave Lunsford a unique opportunity to have one-on-one interaction with these women, and she got to know them on a personal level. She recalls a special connection she made with one woman in particular.
She wasn't even a girl that came to our services a lot, but I found out her name, and if I met her in the hallway, I called her by name. I said hello and called her by name.
Lunsford declined to share the woman's name, but she says inmates are typically called by their last name, and this simple gesture was a big deal to her.
So after that, I made such a point to make sure that I always said hello to her and acknowledged her name, and I thought, we all just kind of need that that acknowledgement that we are a person. And even though they are in that circumstance, and yes, they put themselves there, they're still somebody. And God knows who they are.
Lunsford lost contact with the woman once the stay-home order went into effect. That woman has since completed her prison sentence, however. Under normal circumstances, volunteers are allowed to say goodbye. But Lunsford, due to COVID-19, didn't get that chance.
I was just so sad because I didn't get to say goodbye to her, and I don't know where she is.
Since beginning her service 3 years ago, Lunsford says she has run into several former inmates at restaurants and grocery stores. And though the encounters were brief, she says it was a rewarding experience to see them living a productive life.
I ran into one in a restaurant in Idaho Falls, and I was just like, what? And she remembered me too, and so it's just always good to see that they're progressing and they're trying hard. I always said, we're your biggest cheerleaders. We want you to do well and we want you to succeed.
Now, Bright also recalls an inmate he and his wife connected with, whom we will call Mary. Bright requested we not reveal her name. Bright says Mary became a good friend to him and his wife, and from the moment they first met, Mary was a light.
She was always bubbling. With her situation there, she could still smile and shine.
The Idaho Department of Corrections denied our request to speak with Mary, but court records indicate she was convicted of second-degree murder in Oneida County. She's serving a lifetime prison sentence and has a parole hearing scheduled for April of 2025. She's been in there about 18 years now, according to Bright. Prior to her conviction, Mary was a baptized member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because she's in jail, she's been excommunicated. But Bright says she loves Jesus more than anyone he's ever known.
I understood this. I'd never been in prison, but I spent a year in Vietnam. And in war and in prison, you get real close to God. This lady especially had read the Bible front and back, had read the Book of Mormon front and back. Everything she'd get her hands on to read, she had read it and understood it, had an absolute testimony of the gospel, and loved everything about it, and loved the Savior like nobody I've ever seen.
Bright says it was satisfying to watch her spirituality and love of God grow during the 7 years he served there. Bright was recently released from this position, and he misses the experience immensely, despite the time it took each week. There were things happening there almost every night of the week, and Bright is grateful for the lessons he learned.
I learned how to love people like I didn't think I could.
He cites Matthew 25, where Jesus separates the sheep from the goats. And he then references verse 36, which says, I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
That verse never meant anything to me before I went up there. But when I went up there, that's where I realized that those ladies made some mistakes, but they are absolutely daughters of the Father in heaven, and He loves them, and He wants them taught. And He worries about those girls too, as much as He does everybody else.
It's not clear when services will resume, but if you'd like to learn more about the center and how you can get involved, be sure and visit IDOC's website at the link in the article below. For EastIdahoNews.com, I'm Rhett Nelson, and this is Finding Faith.